Welcome back to the channel. It has been a while since I've done a Dexter Resurrection update video, and today we have a lot to talk about, so let's just get right into it. We are officially less than 2 weeks away from the Dexter Resurrection 2-episode premiere, and we have a lot of updates to discuss. So not only do we have a couple of new casting announcements, but we also got some brand new scenes and footage that we have to break down a little bit. We possibly got our first little look at Dokes. In case you haven't heard, James Dokes is confirmed to be back, and we might have gotten a little glimpse of him in one of these new scenes. And we do have confirmation on who the Dark Passenger Killer is. That is something that we've talked about here on the channel before. We've been speculating who the killer is. So I will reveal that at the end of this video in case you want to avoid spoilers. You'll be able to watch this whole video up until the end, and I will give another little spoiler warning so that you can tune out in case you don't want to know who the Dark Passenger Killer is. And I have to give a shout out to DexterDaily.com. This is where I get most of my Dexter updates from, so I will be referencing a bunch of their articles for all of this news. So first up with the casting announcements, we have Darius Jordan Lee and Diego Aguirre, I think is how you say his last name. Although filming on the show has officially wrapped, these two actors were spotted celebrating at the Dexter Resurrection wrap party. So Darius Jordan Lee is playing Lance Thomas, and we don't really have any details about him, but he is shown in one of these new scenes that we're going to break down in just a little bit. And with Diego Aguirre, his character remains a mystery. But he did post to his Instagram about our two detective characters, Detective Wallace and Oliva, so he might be tied to the NYPD somehow. Maybe he's a suspect, a victim, maybe he's also a cop, we don't know. And then we also have a well-known YouTuber joining the cast, Eric Tabach, I think is how you say his last name. He used to be on BuzzFeed. I actually used to watch him on BuzzFeed. His character's name is Sam Edelstein, and there's no plot details for him, but he will be appearing in 4 episodes. So we don't know if he is an ally of sorts, maybe he's a suspect, we don't know. And actually, an update that I find pretty exciting, we have our first official confirmation of an actor from the prequel appearing in the sequel. I've wondered if we could get some of the actors from Dexter Original Sin, the prequel, appearing in Resurrection. I've wondered if it could be Patrick Gibson, in a flashback with Dexter. It's not him. It is the actor who plays an even younger Dexter in the prequel when he is a young kid, when his mother gets murdered. Played by Eli Sherman. He played Little Dexter in the prequel. In some of the brand new footage that we are going to break down in this video, he filmed a brand new scene where he's once again seen sitting in a pool of Laura Moser's blood, recreating the traumatic moment that shaped Dexter's destiny. And according to DexterDaily.com, this is not recycled footage. The entire scene is brand new and tailored for Resurrection. And Michael C. Hall and James Remar appear in the scene, standing inside the container as young Dexter stares at them in fear. This vision-like sequence promises to add depth to Dexter's psyche and emotional state in the new series. So yeah, this is our first official returning actor from Original Sin. Could we be seeing more actors joining Resurrection? I hope so. I mean, how cool would it be to see Patrick Gibson playing a younger Dexter in Resurrection, maybe even Angel Batista? Maybe we could get his younger actor in the sequel series. Okay, now we're gonna break down some of the brand new footage that we received and a bunch of little featurettes that Showtime has been releasing in the past few days, the past week or so. I am late reporting on this. I apologize. Things have just been crazy, but let's get into it. There's a lot. There's honestly a lot of new footage, so we might be jumping around a little bit here, but let's talk about it. So we do get a glimpse of Harrison working as a bellhop at the Empire Hotel, which we have seen images of before, but we got, some quick little scenes. We see Dexter watching Harrison from afar. We see Dexter staring upside down into the camera. And this entire scene looks like a dream or a hallucination, possibly taking place while Dexter is in a coma in the hospital, back in Iron Lake. The color palette is washed out, and Dexter appears unclothed and disoriented. We see Dexter escaping the Seneca Nation Clinic. We have a doctor in Iron Lake welcoming Dexter back to the land of the living.
Welcome back to the land of the living, Mr. Morgan.
And Dexter realizes that he's alive. And here we might get a little Miami flashback or a dream because of Dexter's classic blue shirt, which is reminiscent of his Miami Metro days. We get another look at Dexter confronting Batista, which we did see in the full-length trailer. And we get another little image of this man falling from the sky. I don't know if this could be Dexter in some sort of dream. And then we do get a closer look at some new scenes with Batista. So Batista says to Dexter, it's like seeing a ghost. And Dexter responds to him saying, I know what you mean.
It's like seeing a ghost. I know what you mean.
But in this brand new scene, we see that Angel Batista answers a mysterious phone call at the clinic. But there's no one on the line. And it shows Batista sort of suspicious and confused since there's likely no voice on the other end. Could this be a deliberate distraction by Dexter to make a quick exit after their confrontation? This would be a classic Dexter move. We know from the full-length trailer that after they come face to face finally, Dexter escapes out of the bathroom window. So in order to do that, does he make a phone call to the clinic and Batista's the one who answers it, and this is a way to distract him so Dexter can make his escape? And then we got a little featurette with James Remar, who of course plays Harry Morgan, and he talks about how Harry found Dexter as this broken child, raised him, with the code, and James Remar also said it's a great compliment to be brought back into something that's so successful and so wonderful and so iconic. And in the brand new scene, we see Dexter in a dreamlike state in the hospital, and Harry is right there at his bedside, puts his hand on his hand and says, hello, son. And then we see Dexter wearing the short sleeve blue shirt that we mentioned a little earlier in the video, and Dexter says, I don't have much to live for. And Harry says, you have a son.
Well, son, I don't have much to live for. You have a son. I'm thinking he's better off without me.
And Dexter is sort of watching himself laying in the hospital bed, and he says, I'm thinking he's better off without me. Dexter also says, I was never there for Harrison. When he showed up in Iron Lake, I tried to mold him into my image.
I was never there for Harrison. And when he showed up in Iron Lake, I tried to mold him into my image.
And James Remar also says that Dexter realizes that he was his father's primary focus, and that's what echoes in Dexter's mind when he's struggling with forming a relationship with Harrison. And then we get another little clip of Dexter putting on a tie, and we can see that Harrison is in front of him also putting on a tie. So is this quick little clip Harrison actually seeing like a ghost of Dexter, the way that Dexter kind of sees Harry? I mean, it looks like Harrison is possibly putting on his work uniform to work at the Empire Hotel. Maybe at this point he thinks Dexter's dead. Maybe he thinks that he actually killed his father. So he's sort of hallucinating Dexter the same way that Dexter hallucinates Harry. But then we also see that Harry is behind Dexter in this scene. So there's a lot going on here. I don't know, maybe Dexter's actually there. Maybe this is when Dexter and Harrison do actually reunite. And maybe Dexter actually is there and they're both getting ready for something. And Harry's there because Dexter's hallucinating him. Maybe that's what's actually going on, because I can't imagine Harrison hallucinating Harry as well because he never knew him. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Leave a comment. But within that featurette, when that clip is playing, James Remar does say Dexter watching Harrison and Harry watching Dexter, it becomes a generational code, if you will. And then we also got our first full-length clip of Uma Thurman outside of a bank. Keith appears visibly shaken, hinting at a dark and complex history between the two. At one point, Charlie refers to him cryptically as the Canton Clever, suggesting a deeper backstory yet to be revealed. The central conflict seems to revolve around money, but it's clear there's more at stake. So the fact that she calls him the Canton Clever, that is making me think that he is another serial killer that was possibly in Leon Prater's circle at some point. We know that he collects these serial killers. We know that we have at least 4 in Resurrection, with Neil Patrick Harris as the tattoo collector, Eric Stonestreet as Rapunzel, David Dastmalchian as the Gemini Killer, and KRYSTEN Ritter as Lady Vengeance. So is the Canton Clever another serial killer name? But clearly from this clip, they want nothing to do with him ever again. And then we got another brand new 2.5-minute featurette where a bunch of the cast members are talking about the season, but sprinkled in are a bunch of new scenes and footage that we haven't seen before. Here it looks like Dexter is in a car, possibly being overpowered by the dark passenger killer, which again, we will talk about the identity of this killer at the end of this video. And we just got some quick little clips of like Leon Prater and Charlie, clips that we've never seen before. Here, Leon Prater is holding that baseball bat with the nails in it that we saw Charlie with in the full-length trailer. And here, this is where people think this is James Stokes. If you notice, a hand looks to be doing James Stokes' signature move. If you remember, he was always like taking 2 fingers and saying to Dexter, like, I got my eye on you. And clearly Dexter is still in the hospital in this image here, and we know that Stokes is sort of going to appear as a phantom the same way the Trinity Killer is and Miguel Prado. So I think all of that is going to take place in the hospital when he is still sort of in a coma. He might be dreaming about it, or maybe once he's awake he will hallucinate it, the way that he hallucinates things all the time. But yeah, I'm pretty sure this is our first little glimpse at Eric King, who plays James Stokes. And then we get this quick clip of the character Blessing Kamara wielding a sword, it looks like. I don't know what the hell could possibly be going on in this little clip. We see what appears to be Dexter aggressively killing someone, and then we see him with the blood slides. We know the blood slides are making a return in Resurrection, which I'm so excited for, but I think it's a little risky of a move because the blood slides are what initially got him caught. I will try to link some of these featurettes down below in the description because you guys have to check them out if you have not seen them yet, especially this one that I am referencing right now. A bunch of the cast members really give some great insight into what we can expect in season 1. I mean, Michael C. Hall describes it as dangerously delicious, I think he said, which is quite the description. Peter Dinklage says the thing about Dexter in the past is there's always, you know, this new villain or this new killer, and this season it's a collection of killers. And Michael C. Hall even says, like, what's going on? Has Dexter been cast in a superhero movie? Which is funny because a lot of fans, I see a lot of you guys in the comment section of my videos saying that this whole collection of serial killers is giving like an Avengers movie. We get a quick clip of Uma Thurman in this room that we saw Dexter in the full-length trailer. And Clyde Phillips, who is the showrunner, says having all of these big-name actors show up on the set, it was magic. We get a clip of the Gemini Killer saying, "Some of my best work yet."
Some of my best work yet.
We see Lady Vengeance's toolkit. We get some new clips of Dexter on the hospital table when all of the doctors are working on him. We got some new clips of Dexter in disguise walking through Central Park where he meets up with Charlie, which we've talked about in past videos when we had set images, but this is the first time we're actually seeing footage. We get some intense footage of Harrison getting in a fight with someone. We've seen like a little bit of that in the full-length trailer, I believe, but we see a little bit more of it in this featurette. And very exciting, we see Rita's hand. We get a little flashback to her death scene in the bathtub. All we see in the featurette is her hand, so I really don't think we're gonna see Julie Benz. She kind of talked about it months ago where she can't see herself returning and no one's reached out to her. I mean, maybe they're keeping it a surprise, but I feel like I doubt it at this point because they're announcing the return of all of these past characters. I think it's going to be a body double and we're just going to get a glimpse of her hands the way that we literally see it in the featurette, but that's pretty exciting because obviously we know that Rita's gruesome death plays a big role in Harrison's Dark Passenger, the same way Laura Moser's gruesome death formed Dexter into who he is. And we know that Harrison appears to be this killer now, so, you know, everything's connected. We also get a quick clip of Harrison coming face to face with Charlie. and she has a gun pointed at him. I don't know what the hell is going on, but this has me so excited. We see that Dexter appears to be at some sort of incinerator, which I think is very reminiscent of Dexter New Blood, where we see him burn the body of Kurt Caldwell's son. And then we get a very exciting 45-second clip of a scene with Dexter and there's no blood. So he believes that Harrison has really taken some tips from him with all of the plastic wrap and making sure to cover your tracks, leaving no trace of DNA.
What?
Dexter seems proud when he says that Harrison may be following in his footsteps.
He may be following in my footsteps. I'm not sure that's something to be happy about.
I think this is so interesting because Dexter never wanted this for Harrison. You know, when Harrison was born, he was worried that he would grow up to be like him. That was like his worst fear. And we know from the end of Dexter New Blood, when we get that narration of the letter that he wrote Hannah, he says, like, if Harrison starts to show any dark tendencies, reach out to me, I think is what he said. But he was worried that Harrison would show dark tendencies. But obviously at the end of Dexter New Blood, he let him in to his world and his kill room for Kurt Caldwell, and now, you know, he's admiring his work. He seems proud that he's following in his footsteps. So it is interesting that he never really wanted this for Harrison, but I imagine Dexter feels lonely in the world because no one knows the true him. Okay, so that is pretty much all of the new scenes and footage that we got in a bunch of these featurettes released in the past week or so. Now we're going to talk about the identity of the dark passenger killer. So if you don't want to know who it is, maybe tune out of the video now, but there was a clip where we see the dark passenger killer try to overpower Dexter, and we can kind of assume who it is from the list of cast that we have. So in this DexterDaily.com article, it says, according to this quick shot and based on the facial features, we can confirm that the dark passenger killer is none other than a character named Red, portrayed by Mark Menchaca. It looks like Dexter will handle this particular threat early in the season. And I do think Dexter will definitely kill him. I think Red, aka the dark passenger killer, will end up on his table, because one of these images that we got in our Vanity Fair first look a couple months ago at this point, here it definitely looks like Red is on his table. So there you have it. I think the whole Harrison as the dark passenger killer theory has been debunked. I think it's safe to say it's going to be Red as the dark passenger killer. But let me know your thoughts. Leave a comment down below. What do you think about all of this new footage that we've been getting? I am so excited. The show honestly looks so good. Everything that I see and all the new info that we get, and with the cast members talking about it, it honestly just gets me more and more excited. And like I said, we are less than 2 weeks away. So stay tuned, because you definitely can expect weekly episode breakdowns as the show is airing, as well as some predictions, theories. We're going to be talking everything Dexter. So subscribe to the channel if you're new here, and definitely turn on all notifications so that you don't miss out when I post a video. Please also go follow me over on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys next time.